All right, letter 26. Here we go. My dear Wormwood, yes, courtship is the time for sowing those seeds which will grow up 10 years later into domestic hatred. The enchantment of unsatisfied desire produces results which humans can be made to mistake for the results of charity. Avail yourself of the ambiguity in the word love. Let them think they have solved by love problems they have in fact only waived or postponed under the influence of enchantment. Well, at last, you have your chance to foment the problems in secret and render them chronic. The grand problem is that of unselfishness. Note once again the admirable work of our philological arm in substituting the negative unselfishness for the enemy's positive charity. Thanks to this, you can, from the very outset, teach a man to surrender benefits, not that others may be happy in having them, but that he may be unselfish in foregoing them. That is a great point gained. So what he's saying is, get him to give something up, not because, he says, not that he may be happy, not that others may be happy in having them. So get him to give something up, not to make someone happy, but that he may be unselfish in foregoing them. So it's really another pride issue. If I give it up, I'm not giving it up so that you can have it. I'm giving it up so that you can think that I'm unselfish. And that's where they want the patient to go. Another great help where the parties concerned are male and female is the divergence of view about unselfishness, which we have built up between the sexes. A woman means by unselfishness chiefly taking the trouble for others. A man means not giving trouble to others. As a result, a woman who is quite far gone in the enemy's service will make a nuisance of herself on a larger scale than any man except for those whom our Father has dominated completely, and conversely, a man will live long in the enemy's camp before he undertakes as much spontaneous work to please others as a quite ordinary woman may do every day. Thus, while the woman thinks of doing good offices, the man of respecting other people's rights, each sex, without any obvious unreason, can and does regard the other as radically selfish. So pretty much he's using gender roles against them. He's using stereotypes of what women do versus what men do, and he's making each other seem selfish. On top of these confusions, you can now introduce a few more. The erotic enhancement produces a mutual compliance in which each is really pleased to give in to the wishes of the other. They also know that the enemy demands of them a degree of charity, which, if attained, would result in similar actions. You must make them establish as a law for their whole married life that degree of mutual self-sacrifice, which is at present sprouting naturally out of the enhancement, but which, when the enhancement dies away, they will not have charity enough to enable them to perform. They will not see the trap, since they are under the double blindness of mistaking sexual excitement for charity and of thinking that the excitement will last. When once a sort of official, legal, and nominal unselfishness has been established as a rule for the keeping of which their emotional resources have died away and their spiritual resources have not yet grown, the most delightful results follow. In discussing any joint action, it becomes obligatory that A should argue in favor of B's supposed wishes against his own, while B does the opposite. It is often impossible to find out either party's real wishes. With luck, they end by doing something neither wants, which each feels a glow of self-righteousness and harbors a secret claim to preferential treatment for the unselfishness shown, and a secret grudge against the other for the ease with which the sacrifice has been accepted. Later on, you can venture on what is called the game of generous conflict illusion. This is important. This game is best played with more than 2 players in a family with grown-up children, for example. Something quite trivial, like having tea in the garden, is proposed. One member takes care to make it quite clear, though not in so many words, that he would rather not, but is, of course, prepared to do so out of unselfishness. The others instantly withdraw their proposal, ostensibly through their unselfishness, but really because they don't want to be used as a sort of lay figure on which the first speaker practices petty altruisms. But he is not going to be done out of his debauch for unselfishness either. He insists on doing what the others want. They insist on doing what he wants. Passions are aroused. Soon someone is saying, "Very well then, I won't have tea at all," and a real quarrel ensues with bitter resentment on both sides. You see how it is done? If each side had been frankly contending for its own wishes, they would have all kept within the bounds of reason and courtesy. But just because the contention is reversed and each side is fighting the other side's battle, all the bitterness which really flows from the thwarted self-righteousness and obstinacy and the accumulated grudges of the last 10 years is concealed from them by the nominal or unofficial unselfishness of what they are doing, or at least held to be excused by doing it. So what he's saying is, here's a scenario. You have a family with grown children, and someone suggests they have tea outside. And one of the children, we'll call him George. George says, "I don't really want to have tea outside, but I will make the sacrifice. I will do it because you want to do it, Mom." And so Mom says, "Oh, no. George, if you don't want to go outside, then we just won't go outside. We won't do that." And so then they start arguing. So George is like, "Well, yeah, we're going to go outside because you want to go outside." And Mom says, "No, we're not going to go outside because you don't want to go outside." So instead of just having opinions and George just saying, "No, I'm just not going to go out," they end up in a big quarrel or a big argument because they're fighting against each other, trying to give the other what they want. Do you see what I'm saying? They obviously didn't read the book of James. Each side is indeed quite alive with the cheap quality of the adversary's unselfishness and of the false position into which he is trying to force them, but each manages to feel blameless and ill-used itself with no more dishonesty than comes natural to a human. A sensible human once said, "If people knew how much ill-feeling unselfishness occasions, it would not be so often recommended from the pulpit." And again, she's the sort of woman who lives for others. You can always tell the others by their hunted expression. All this can be begun even in the period of courtship. A little real selfishness on your patient's part is often of less value in the long run for securing his soul than the first beginnings of the elaborate and self-conscious unselfishness which may one day blossom into the sort of thing I have described. Some degree of mutual falseness, some surprise that the girl does not always notice just how unselfish he is being, can be smuggled in already. Cherish these things, and above all, don't let the young fools notice them. If they notice them, they will be on the road to discovering that love is not enough, that charity is needed and not yet achieved, and that no external law can supply its place. I wish Slum Trimpet could do something about undermining the young woman's sense of ridiculousness. Your affectionate uncle, Screwtape.